YouTube. What is up? It's your boy Trent Bishop. I was about to say Renaissance. That's my old artist name. But it's Trent Bishop back again with another video. And in this video, I want to talk to you all about something very important. I want to talk to you all about why you need to detach yourself from the outcomes of everything. The outcomes of your career, the outcomes of your relationship, the outcome of your life. You have to detach, forget about the outcome. It is very important. It is imperative for you to detach from the outcome. And I'm about to tell you why. Reason number one why you want to detach yourself from the outcome. Honestly, your life becomes stress-free. Everyone who really knows me or who sees just the difference in my life when I just stopped caring about the outcome of things, they notice that I'm very calm now. I'm very much in tune with my reality. I am not stressed about what may or may not happen because I could give a fuck about the outcomes of things. Now, it's not to say that I don't want good things to happen to me. I do. But I don't let it be the driving force of my life. When you see people who are very stressed, let me just put it on myself. When I was very stressed in my life, I was very much attached to the outcome of things. I was very much attached to how I wanted things to go, how I wanted things to look like, how I wanted people to perceive me, because I was very much attached to the outcomes. When you detach yourself from the outcomes, you no longer have this feeling of anxiety. That's the main thing that you feel when you're attaching yourself to outcome. You're anxious about something that may or may not happen. You have to nip that in the bud, and it's easier said than done. Nobody's saying that after this video you'll stop attaching yourself to outcomes, but at least you can take the steps that you need to get to that place, because it's very important for you to do that. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that when you detach yourself from outcomes, you're no longer living an inauthentic life. What do I mean by that? You're no longer molding or shaping yourself to be something that you're not. I've noticed that in my life, when I attach myself to an outcome, when I attach myself to a narrative, when I attach myself to what I think people perceive me as, that is when I feel a lot of anxiety. I don't feel comfortable in my own space. I don't feel comfortable in my own body because I'm so attached to things that are going on externally and neglecting all of the things that are happening internally. What was the point that I made? I just lost my train of thought. But what I'm trying to say is that outcomes. Oh, that's what I was saying. You live in an inauthentic life. When you detach yourself from the outcomes of things, you're no longer manipulating outcomes. You don't want to be a manipulative person, because whether you realize it or not, it does come off manipulative. It is very needy. It is very much an unattractive trait when you are trying to manipulate a person, when you're trying to manipulate a situation, when you're trying to manipulate just anything that goes into your life, your career. And let me not get you confused with manipulation being this one-dimensional thing. Manipulation is simply just you forcing a situation to happen rather than letting it happen naturally. So if you guys see my previous videos, I talk a lot about relationships. When I found myself attached to outcomes in my relationships, in my previous relationships, where I would want this girl to be my girlfriend, or I would want them to do this, or I would want them to do that. Instead of directly asking, I would do things to say like, hey, subconsciously putting it in their head, I want you to be this person. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. that is manipulative. And people can sense that energy, whether you realize it or not. I didn't know that for a long time, but now that I'm on this spiritual path and I'm understanding myself better and I'm understanding just human interactions and stuff like that, I'm seeing that that was something that I never had to do. Because when you detach yourself from the outcomes, you naturally gravitate, or things that you want in life naturally find its way to you. When I let go of the outcomes of things, my life just made a lot more sense. I didn't feel as though I had to do things, I had to do that, I had to appease this person, I had to manipulate my way into getting love. I started giving all these things to myself, but two, people just started to sense that energy. And the people who were no longer meant to be in my life kind of found their way out of it. And honestly, it made life a lot easier. So that's the second thing. When you're detaching yourself from outcome, you're not living an inauthentic life. You're living in your truest self. Which brings me to my third point as to why you need to detach yourself from your outcomes, is that you are now connected to your most, or your higher self. Some people call it the Holy Spirit. Some people call it whatever. You're connected to the source energy, whether that be God, whether that be, for me it's God, for you it may be something else. But when you are detaching yourself from outcome, you are officially letting go and letting God. And it is not something that is easy. It's scary because we know that we think that in life there's a blueprint as to, if I do this, this will happen. If I do this, that will happen. If I do this, that will happen. And when those things don't go according to plan, that's when we start to feel very anxious. We start to feel very much worried. We're like, oh my God, what do I do? How do I? When you detach yourself from the outcome of things, you no longer have those worries. You're no longer questioning whether or not, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? If it's what you feel, then it's what you're supposed to be doing. For instance, making this video. I don't even know who's gonna see these videos, but I make them with the mindset that like, hey, this is something that I wanna share. And what it does is what it does. I can't control if this gets 0 views, 100 views, 1,000,000 views. I can't control those things, so I'm not gonna stress about it. What I can control is that when I press record and I start talking, that a video will come out of it. That's it. There's nothing left. There's nothing more to it. That is all that is going on here. And that's me breaking it down in the simplest form. But that's what I want you all to adopt and understand, that in order to live a stress-free life, you have to detach yourself from the outcome of things. You can't be so hell-bent on what you want things to be. You have to let it happen naturally. You can't allow yourself to be so attached to how you want things to be. You have to ask yourself, I've said this in previous videos, or in a previous video, that you have to give yourself what you need. In the present moment, what you need. Because when you give yourself what you need, you ultimately always get what it is that you want. Why? Because you are acting in your higher self. You're acting in a place of love, in a place of security. You're no longer being insecure when you're detaching yourself from the outcome. There's a lot of insecurity. A lot of insecurities kind of evaporate when you detach yourself from an outcome. Because what are insecurities? Insecurities is the breaking down the word is not secure. Insecure. You're not secure within yourself because you're placing all of your sense of security on external things, on external outcomes. But when you say, you know what? I'm gonna ask this girl out. She says no, she says yes. Hey, whatever. I can control what I say to her, I can control what I do, and that's that. And it just makes life a lot more enjoyable and a lot more fun because you're not placing like your self-worth on other people, on other circumstances, on other whatever, materialistic things that don't validate you in the long run. You could think that they do, and they may validate you momentarily, but the only thing that really validates us is how we feel about ourselves on the inside. And if you don't love how you're feeling on the inside, you will live a very miserable life. And you'll continue to be addicted. You'll continue to be addicted to negative emotions, negative experiences, and thinking, oh, the world is bad, and the world is whatever you perceive the world to be. And if you believe the world to be unfair, you believe the world to be a bad place, you believe it to be this negative experience, then yes, you're not wrong. It's your life, it's your experience. But I'm here to tell you that if you shift your thinking, because that's really the only thing that we can control, your life will be a lot more peaceful. Your life will be a lot more enjoyable. You won't feel as though life is a drag. You'll wake up and you'll be excited. You'll be like, oh my God, I get another day, another 24 hours. That's how you want to live your life. Yeah. So, in conclusion, where we at? 11:15. In conclusion, I want you all to understand that when you detach yourself from the outcome of things, life is a lot more enjoyable. People are a lot more enjoyable. Experiences are just a lot more enjoyable because now you don't have expectations as to how things should go or what you want it to be. You're just presently accepting things and people for who they are, and you're not requiring much of them. And honestly, when you have no expectations, you can't really be let down. Everything is just like, oh shit, that happened. Like, I give you a prime example. I'm a part-time server at the Cheesecake Factory. I'm surrounded by a lot of people my age who, I'm talking like I'm an old man, but I'm surrounded by everyone who they're so attached to, this table has to tip me, this table has to do this, and when they don't tip me, I get upset. But every single time that I get a table and they don't tip me, I just show it to my coworkers, and they're like, bro, like, how do you feel right now? And I'm just like, honestly, I don't care. And they're like, they're so amazed by it. And they're just like, why? Why don't you care? I'm like, that's out of my control. I can't control whether or not this person tips. I would like for them to tip. But that's, one, I chose a job. And then two, I can't get mad at something that's out of my control. The only thing that I can control is providing the best service to the people that I'm serving. And as long as I do that, then the outcome should work in my favor. And most of the time it does, but sometimes it doesn't. But that's just life. Life. Sometimes you do everything correctly and shit just kind of falls through the cracks. But you can't get mad about it. You can't take it personally. You just gotta understand that that's just how life goes sometimes. And that's how I want you to understand that that's how life goes sometimes. So in conclusion, detach yourself from outcomes and your life will transform for the better. It's your boy Trent Bishop. That's the end of this video. This was a good one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Follow me on IG at Trent Bishop 888 on all social media platforms. I'm so used to saying DSPs because of my old channel. But yeah, man. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Trent Bishop 888. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell. I'm coming with the next one. I don't know. But stay tuned for that. Peace.